Well, it was just marvellous to be there today and watch it all unfold. And to give you an idea of how fickle life can be at the top for these guys, at 11 o'clock this morning, the people in front of me were saying, "What's Greatbatch in the team for? He should never have been picked." And by 3:30, it was, well, we always knew he'd come right. In fact, it was pretty much Greatbatch for Prime Minister. And Ian Smith batting at the end as if he had tickets to the Rod Stewart concert and he didn't want to be late. Now let's have some comment from those at the centre of the action. They spoke with Peter Williams.
Obviously, we've been working on our sort of tactics and what have you, and, you know, they're coming off at the moment, which is nice. But you're only as good as your next game, and we've just got to keep our feet on the ground. But things went well early on. Of course, you know, you get pressure on South African batsmen, and it's very difficult to get the ball away, and we keep the pressure on long enough to make it hard for them.
Right, and after the bowling and fielding effort, just the dream start you needed from Greatbatch and Latham.
Well, you know, Mark Greatbatch has been waiting for this chance to sort of just show his true skill, and he played an unconscious innings, really. It was just purely instinctive. You know, he couldn't stop. He was in such good form. And I'm really pleased for him personally because he's really struggled for a bit, but now he's back.
Mark, I know you've worked very hard on your technique over the summer with the unfortunate run of outs that you've had. What in particular have you been working on?
Really just hitting straight, playing to my strengths. You know, I've had a lot of help from my fellow players, you know. Everyone's been really supportive, and it has been a hard year, and one innings doesn't make a summer either. So, you know, it's nice to hit a few in the middle today and help us win.
Just trying to remember, when did you last go in first? Was it back in the Auckland days or not?
Yeah, a few haircuts ago, mate. Yeah.
But that was in Shell Cup days. Or did you open in trophy matches as well?
Yeah, first class, yeah.
Right. Do you enjoy it?
Yeah, it's you get out there early on, don't you? Really. I mean, Donald was getting it through reasonably quickly, wasn't he? Rock?
Yeah, he was.
Yeah. How fast was he, Rod?
He's certainly the fastest I've faced before. You know, he was hitting the splice, and you know, it was just a case of trying to work him down a third man or fine leg, and you know, anything loose we had to hit, really, wasn't it?
Did you feel a bit of pressure off when the bowlers were operating from the other end, though?
Yeah, a wee bit. You know, they gave us a wee bit of width and were quite full, so you know, Paddy was hitting it to the boundary quite regularly, obviously. So you know, it did take the pressure off, and we could just keep Donald out. Yeah.
I've just heard, in fact, from our speed radar today that Alan Donald was going at about 140 kilometres an hour, which is, what, 90 miles an hour. And he's the fastest bowler we've had in New Zealand this summer, ahead of Chris Lewis, Danny Morrison, Chris Cairns, etc. Rod, as far as your own role out there was concerned, when you saw Mark going so well, did you decide that you would just play the anchorman's role, a support role, or not?
Well, it was a wee bit pointless, both of us actually attacking the bowling. You know, my job as it was to, you know, just to work the singles, and Paddy was going really well, and you know, he was hitting the boundaries, so I had to give him as much as the strike as I could, and then when he got out, I had to take over that role, so that was basically it. And
has that mark of 38 been a bit of a bogey number for you? Before today, your highest score in a one-day international, or not?
Well, actually, 38 wasn't a problem. It was getting out of the 20s. But yeah, it's always nice to get past 38, and nice to get the first 50.
We welcome now Crowe Wessels, captain of South Africa. Great to have you with us, Kepler. And I guess I've got to ask, how do you feel after being on the receiving end of that?
Yeah, obviously we're disappointed. You know, I said after Wednesday's game that we expected a tough one today, and the New Zealanders play very well under these conditions. We never really got into the match, and obviously we've got a lot of work to do. So we've got to try and bounce back on Monday and get our momentum going again. Did
you feel that your team was a little disadvantaged by the conditions, by the pitch?
Well, I think we didn't adapt as well as we should have. We certainly never really put pressure on the New Zealanders, either with the bat or the ball. And as I say, their tactics worked. They kept getting wickets at the right time. And when they batted, you know, we were hopeful of a couple of early wickets and then creating pressure and doing it that way. But it never worked out that way. So that's the way it goes.
Well, it's great to have South Africa back in New Zealand again, and you know, hopefully they'll tour here soon. Just delighted to have them here.
Possibility maybe of New Zealand stopping off in South Africa later on in 1992 to play some first-class games.
Sooner the better. It'd be great.
Mark Greatbatch wins the match award with his scintillating opening knock of 68 from 60 balls. Willie Watson, with a fine opening bowling spell, gets 2 points. He's second today, and Rod Latham picks up the third point for his role in that opening stand. So here's the progress in the series award now. Mark Greatbatch won today. Martin Crowe won last Saturday. John Wright won midweek in Hamilton, and Rod Latham, with a second last week and a third today, is also up at the top of the ladder, and Chris Harris is challenging hard as well. So the points being shared around the team at the moment.
So New Zealand steamrolls past South Africa and goes top of the table on their own. We'll have a look at the latest World Cup standings shortly. The other World Cup